I've analyzed hundreds of long drive swings, and I've never seen anything like this. Hey, this is Steve from HitItLonger.com. I continue on my journey to hit the ball longer and straighter than ever before. I hope you'll join me and hit the subscribe button. So Bryson DeChambeau recently finished second in the World Long Drive Championships. This is just amazing. One of the most epic clutch performers I've ever seen in person. He outlasted over a dozen guys that were faster and bigger than him. And if I might make a bold statement, I would say that Bryson might be the longest straight hitter ever to play golf. So we should definitely study his swing to see what he's doing to make the ball go so long and straight. Now watch the takeaway as Bryson pulls it back low and well on the inside. Now you can see that this is probably due to the axis that his hips and shoulders are turning on. They're turning on a very flat axis. You can see how much early hip turn there is. And it's relatively flat. And so the arms are just kind of following that. And that sets him up, way on the inside. And so this just shows you, since this is a video about the longest straight hitter maybe in golf history, that you don't have to take the club back dead straight like the textbook or other YouTube instructors might tell you. Instead, he's going way to the inside, looking like he's going to be way laid off and flat. Then he lifts the arms into position. And check this out, how far across the line to the right he is at the top. So there's another rule broken. Now, of course, he's actually right on plane relative to his hips and shoulders, as again, this is due to the kind of the flatness and the size of the hip turn that's happening here. Now what you see from here is this dynamic sit move. So talked about it in a recent video. Look how straight that back leg is and how flexed in towards the center his front leg is. So he's trying to achieve the tallest position he can on his back leg, just like he was a pitcher winding up at the top of his windup. Now he's going to crash and get heavy. So watch this drop as he drops the left foot and left heel into the ground with some serious force. You see this crash. Now he gets very, very heavy into the ground as he's going to switch knees. So the right knee was extended at the top of the swing. He's in the process of straightening the left knee as the right knee flexes. So the knees are switching, and this is just simply the moment where he's in between and both knees are flexed. But again, you'll see, if we were to draw a line, this isn't the perfect angle to look at the hip depth because it's on the handle path line. But clearly you can see the butt pushing back through the yellow line. So his butt backs up a good 2 to 3 inches as he steps into the transition. This is opposite of what a lot of people do, and they push forward towards the ball. Now, if you want to hit the ball farther, you've got to maintain or even slightly increase that rump depth. If you come forward and you stand up, well, you're not going to create as much ground forces or rotation, and you're just simply not going to create as much club head speed. So this is one of his big keys to getting a lot of speed, is this going from tall to heavy, tall to squat. And this is going to help him really rotate through quite rapidly. Now, watch as he gets into the slot position, how shallow this is. This is another great lesson for people out there. So not only is the butt depth increasing, but the club is down on the forearm, you can see, which is also the opposite of a lot of you watching. The average golfer comes in much, much steeper than this. So this is a combination of him coming at the ball from the inside with the maintenance of the posture. Let's see if we can advance it a little bit farther. This editing software only allows about 60 frames per second. So filming this in high speed, we're missing a lot of frames, which I would have loved to show you. So I'll have to kind of interpolate here. Now, this kick out of the head, it almost looks like it's stuck here a little bit behind him, but because the exit is so good of the handle, you're already going to see the kick out of the head around. And this is what brings us to the really fascinating thing about Bryson's swing, and that is through the impact zone, the club face. So because the path of the club head and the path of the handle is so good, the club head is going to come in on a really nice arc with the face square to the arc. You combine that with the left wrist kind of bowed a little bit coming into impact. It makes the face of the club look really square to the arc at this point. And as we continue down into impact, look at that club face, just so perfectly square, going to catch the back of the ball. And again, now let's watch the rest of the frames here through impact, what we can gather. Watch the next frame here. Again, look at how the club face has stayed absolutely square to the arcs. If we were to kind of toggle back and forth, we would see, man, this club face is so square to the arc going through. Now, if you watch Bryson warm up on this range, you see a white line here. That's kind of the edge of the turf football field. And the yellow line must be for, I don't know, it could be for some other sport or something. But that's about an 8-yard strip between the yellow and the white line. And you watch Bryson warm up for the competition, you'll see he's striping balls down this 8-yard fairway about 3/4 of the time, right over that bathroom shed down at the end of the range. You watch the ball take off, it's just, it's straight as a string. And he would just stripe balls one after another just like that. I mean, I just have never seen anyone with this much power stripe the ball so consistently. If you were there watching him compared to the other 15 guys warming up behind him up and down the tee line, the dispersion is just so incredibly tight compared to everybody else in the sport. So again, that's why I'd say, these drives he's hitting just in warm-ups are probably 370. And he went as long as 416 in the actual event with his ball in the finals. His last ball in the finals at 406 yards, 146 mile-an-hour club speed, and 217 ball speed. So there's just not simply anybody on tour who can even come close to that if they tried. Just so much dedication to getting his club head speed up while yet maintaining these perfect angles through impact. It's just amazing to watch him drive the ball. It's such a joy. Watch the exit here of the club shaft. It exits left beautifully, so the club face never has to flip over. It goes from square to square at high speed, which is exactly what we try to do with our golf swing. Get that club face going square to square right along the target line, and then do it faster and faster and faster. So see the side bend here indicating that he's maintained the posture throughout. And look where the club exits. The club exits out his armpit, perfectly parallel to his shoulder line. This is exactly where we would like the club to exit. Beautifully done. The finish is awkward looking. His left foot spins out, his right foot over rotates, kind of drags out. Kind of awkward looking, but this is simply to help him absorb the rotational forces and not have a back or a knee injury. So those moves of the feet allow the feet to respond to the turning body, simply lowers the risk of injury. All right, let's take one more look in slow-mo. Get tall, squat, turn, and release. Possibly the longest straight hitter in golf history. So if you're looking to drive the ball long and straight, You'd like to move your swing down the Bryson DeChambeau number line, especially with what he's doing from the slot through the exit. Just absolutely wonderful. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I'm Steve, and as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.